Hi, everyone. It's Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy here, your guide to the night sky this week for May 8th, 2023. I hope you had a great weekend. It was very interesting. I'm broadcasting from Montreal, Canada. We had clear skies, and we had, if you weren't aware, an alert on for possible northern lights. This is really cool stuff. Lots of activity on the sun, huge clouds of charged particles being blown off to the sun late last week, which basically was heading straight for the Earth. And the predictions were for some potentially intense geomagnetic storms, moderate level ones that would cause potentially some really nice light shows, aurora borealis. For a lot of people that may not normally get to see them, this is exciting, especially those of us in the more southerly latitudes. This is something really cool. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. I think for most of us who are out there, I know I was outside late into the night until around 1:30 in the morning, looking for these, watching the data coming in from the NOAA that actually creates predictions and showcases all the data coming in from satellites and other stations on the ground, showing that there wasn't as much intensity as what we were expecting, and the light shows didn't really manifest the way we thought they were. There are a few examples here and there. I saw one fellow in Germany produce some really nice, very modest, subtle pinks and purples and a little bit of green in the horizon towards the north. But really, for the most part, there wasn't too much. Some in Ontario, Canada, I saw, Alberta, especially those people who are in the higher latitudes, closer to the polar region, they saw stuff. Now, I always watch from my friends at spaceweather.com. I'll just put this up. There is still hope. There is currently on the site, they're saying that, yes, there was the weak impact of the CME. CME is the coronal mass ejection. That's basically this giant cloud of charged particles that the sun belches off its surface. And that's what, when it hits our magnetic field around our planet, that's where we can have the potential for light shows. So there was one. It was a weaker impact than we thought. So it did not cause that significant geomagnetic storm that we were expecting. But there was another coronal mass ejection. And you can see here, this happened yesterday on Sunday, May 7th. And look at this. You can see clearly late in the day for those of us in North America, but already early Monday, May 8th, Universal Time, you can see here clearly. Look at that. You see this? Look at that. There you go. That is the cloud, and that's heading towards Earth. And if all things go well, their predictions right now say it predicts that it will arrive during the early hours of May 10th. So what are we, 8th, 9th, 10th? So early hours of Wednesday morning. So late Tuesday into early Wednesday, that's when we're thinking it could happen. The impact could cause moderate G2 to strong G3 geomagnetic storms. So that's very good, because the stronger these storms, the intensity, the more likelihood we have very significant dramatic light shows, auroras occurring. The chances increase. So let's cross our fingers, mark this down so you don't forget. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, May 9th into early morning of Wednesday is the time. Right now, that's the prediction. Now, follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, and I will post updates on this as I get them, as I'm looking at, and I'm just looking at the data throughout the day, today and tomorrow, and see. And because I'd love to go out, chances for me in Montreal are good in that the skies are clear. So I'm hoping to have a good show with that. So let's hope for the best that works out. Now, what's really interesting is this week we have a few things happening with deep sky stuff and solar system objects as well. And what's really cool is we're going to start off here. Let's just jump right into the planetarium program. And what you'll see here is Monday, May 8th. This is in the evening once the skies begin to darken. What are you going to see? So, looking towards the west, you're going to be greeted by a number of beautiful stars. Some of them are more typical of the winter, early spring time stars, but they're kind of bowing out the winter ones, like Betelgeuse down here, you can see. Brilliant orange star in the constellation Orion. That is kind of going to be lost in the glare of the sunset soon. Sirius off here to the left, also the brightest star that we can see in the sky. But way up, you'll see higher up in the sky, you'll see Venus. And next to it, the other planet nearby, the two closest planets to Earth are going to be fairly close together, is Mars. Mars is also going to be really a beautiful planet to see. I don't know what happened here. Just sort of, let me just make sure that I have the right. There we go. Now we're good. We're cooking now. So there you can see Venus up higher up there, and then even higher in the sky in the west is going to be this orange, brilliant dot. It looks like a star, but it's actually planet Mars. But really, the cool part here is if you could take binoculars and telescopes and point it at Venus, you'll see something very neat close by. Venus happens to be pairing with a deep sky object, and it's in the constellation, by the way. You see this Castor and Pollux stars next to Mars here. There's Mars, that orange one that I told you about, and then there's this yellow star and a white star. These are the Gemini twins. So this is all in the west, by the way, just after sunset. Skies get dark. Just be patient. Let the sky. So maybe about an hour after your local sunset, I would say, you'll see Mars and these two stars in the Gemini twin constellation pop up. And then at the bottom, near the feet of one of the twins of, you can see here, Castor, the feet of Castor holds a deep sky surprise just off the foot of that twin. It's called M35. And it'll be right next to Venus. So the easy way to find this is Venus. Venus is your amazing guidepost. And I'll tell you something else. This is a star cluster, M35, sometimes called the shoe buckle cluster. And you can see it's an open star cluster. It's about 3,000 light years away. And it's really beautiful. Here's a picture. It sort of gives you a good representation. Let me just blow that up there, and so you can see right there. It's a pretty cluster to watch. Let me see if I can get out there. And this, to the naked eye, you can actually start seeing it. It looks like a little fuzzy glow. With binoculars, easy peasy to see this. And Venus is going to guide you. And how close are the two together? Well, this is also what makes it so interesting, is that these two objects, Venus and the star cluster M35, are going to be very close, about a degree and a half apart. It's about equal to, say, your thumb, the width of your thumb held at arm's length, like that. So if you hold it at arm's length, that's how close. If you put it next to Venus, the width of your thumb will show you where that star cluster is. And what's very cool is that with binoculars, you'll see both of them at the same time, Venus and the star cluster together, which is really cool. And what also is neat is that through a telescope, it even shows even more impressive. So that's kind of like what you could see in, say, in a telescope, like that there. You can see that. There you go. I'm just zooming in. So that's about what you would see, how far apart. So a very low power magnification eyepiece will really take you a long way. And so you get as much of the sky as possible into that single field of view, and you'll just about fit the star cluster here, M35, and the planet Venus in the same field of view. It's really a beautiful sight together. Highly recommend it. It's an easy thing to do. If you have binoculars, you'll be able to pin it out. Remember, an hour after, at least an hour after sunset, so the skies have to darken as much as possible to see this little star cluster. Imagine it's 3,000 light years away, this star cluster, so far away. And Venus is just going to guide you to be able to see that. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's really nice. And if you can see, this is tonight, right? So May 8th, and look at May 9th. May 9th, you can see these two objects still very close together. May 10th, see how what's happening? Venus is kind of moving away from the star cluster. May 11th, this is Thursday, and Friday, you'll see even farther away. So really the best time, during this broadcast, I'm broadcasting on May 8th, Monday. Look, it's just passing by right now. So May 8th and 9th, Monday night and Tuesday night, really the best, most dramatic pairing, I would say, between the two. So do check that out. I'm looking at the comments. I can see Terrelyn says that Terrelyn says, was lucky enough to see some of the northern lights last night, and they were so faint but visible on my phone. Very good point, Terrelyn, that sometimes these auroras, the fainter displays, are not going to be visible to the eye very much. But if you bring out your phone and do maybe an exposure photograph, a 3-second, 5-second, 15-second exposure, you'll be able to pick out a lot more details in the display that were completely invisible to your eye. So try taking photographs with your phone. You'll be very surprised at what you could pick up with your phone. So seeing here, Barna from Baton Rouge is watching as well. And Terrelyn, oh, I see. So you are in Warren, Ontario. Very good. Not too far away from, I guess, from where I am, fellow Canuck. And we've got folks from Nikki from England watching. Welcome to the show. Betty from Kansas. Nice of you to join. Very nice. And join Rob from Oklahoma, also joining us on the broadcast today, and many others as well. Wonderful to see you. So this is what's greeting us over the next couple of days. Check out Venus and this 3,000 light year distant cluster. Incredible, just incredible to even think that it's something that is visible to the naked eye through binoculars and easy view, and those ancient photons traveling for 3,000 years, those light photons hitting your eye. It's incredible. And by the way, that star cluster takes up about as much room as the full moon does. So think about the disk of the full moon, of how big it is in the sky. That's how big this cluster is in the sky. If it was bright, imagine if those stars were bright enough as the moon, how beautiful they would look to the naked eye. But alas, they're 3,000 light years away, so you're not going to see much. So what else is there? So let's turn our attention to the moon, and we'll move on to Saturday. And on Saturday morning, let's see if we can go to Friday night first and look towards the east, and we'll just fix this to go an hour by hour and see when the moon actually pops up. There we go. So around 3:30, 4 in the morning, you got to be really early. If you're up, you'll see a beautiful sight, a pairing between two worlds. The ringed world of Saturn, the planet Saturn, the second largest planet in the solar system, is going to be snuggling up next to a beautiful crescent moon, a waning crescent moon. And the pair will be in the east-southeast in the constellation Aquarius, right there, the water bearer. So those two worlds are going to be right smack dab in the middle of this nice ancient zodiacal constellation in the east. So you'll see the two very, very clearly. And by the way, if you're thinking about the moon, I don't know, did any of you guys happen to see the lunar eclipse, the penumbral lunar eclipse? It was quite a show for those of you in Asia, Africa, and Europe. Here in North America, where I am, both North, Central, and even South America were out of luck for that. We were on the wrong side of the earth for the penumbral lunar eclipse that happened last week, Friday. But some of you did take some amazing photos of seeing that darkening of the moon. Well, now we're past the full moon phase, and the moon is waning, in what we call waning. It's getting smaller in terms of the amount of of the disk that is illuminated. And it's by Saturday morning before the sun rises, look for this beautiful pairing. You can see that if I move this there by sunrise, there, this is the view looking towards the east southeast. You'll have Saturn and the moon have moved over to the southeast. Still just a gorgeous pairing. And I put a challenge out for you guys. How long can you see Saturn next to the moon after sun rises? I wonder if you can actually still see Saturn. Maybe using binoculars. I would recommend trying with binoculars, and you might get lucky enough to keep seeing that Saturn despite daylight being upon you. Now, if we look also the moon, if we just, and you'll have noticed there's Neptune there. And Neptune, you do need darker skies a little bit earlier. So I would say maybe an hour earlier with telescope or binoculars at the very least. Low in the east. It's hard to spot, but hold on. Just be patient. There's a little bit more about Neptune. And then there's Jupiter. Just kind of waking up out of the glare of the sunrise, moving slowly away. It'll be a more dominant feature in the early morning skies for us. Jupiter will be in the coming weeks and months. And if we just switch to another day, we can see the moon. This is on Sunday morning. By Monday morning next week, so a week from today, where I'm broadcasting on May 8th, the crescent moon will be paired up with Neptune. Remember, I said Neptune is a very difficult object, a challenging planet to see. Forget about naked eye. It's magnitude 8 something, and I'm going to check it off actually and see. And the distance is unbelievable. It's 4.5 billion kilometers away. And the light, there's 253 minutes it takes light to reach your eye. Isn't that unbelievable? 253 minutes for the light to reach you. So a few hours away, light hours away, that's for sure. And yet it's visible with binoculars. So this is a very good opportunity if you want to knock that off your bucket list of planets to watch that you've seen yourself with your own eyes. Neptune is the farthest planet that you'll be able to easily see. Pluto, the dwarf planet beyond Neptune, you do need a fairly good large telescope to see. It's just too faint. But Neptune is visible with binoculars, and the moon will act as a wonderful, wonderful guidepost for seeing the pair. And through a pair of binoculars, this is about what you would see right there. You can kind of see just off the side. So you point it at your binoculars at the moon, and then just to the upper right, this kind of curvature. You can use the curvature of the crescent, kind of continue that line out that way, and then just kind of scan the sky for a small, tiny green-blue dot. That's what you're looking for, a green-blue dot. That is going to be Neptune. So that's what's in store for you on basically Monday morning. You can see May 15th, early, try to see Neptune. Maybe you want to get no later than an hour before sunrise, because you want that darkened sky to help you in seeing Neptune. So, and one more thing about the moon, by the way, just a little fun fact, that on Thursday, if we go back, let's see, Saturday, right? Sunday, right there on Thursday, there's the moon. And let's see if when you'll get to see the moon in the early morning hours. So in the morning. So Thursday, the moon will officially be at perigee, which means it is at its closest to the Earth. And it'll be about 369,000 kilometers away, the moon. So this is the view on Thursday. And on Friday, it's going to be officially the quarter moon, the last quarter moon. So which means you'll only see half of the disk illuminated. All right. And this is just gorgeous to see the moon go through its phases, and you'll see it in the early morning hours. That's when the moon will grab your attention. Wow. So always some fun things in the sky. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a lot of fun. and hope you have some good, cloud-free skies so that you can enjoy this in the morning. Some of things are early morning objects to see, and I know that's a challenge because for those of us in the northern hemisphere, it gets light pretty early in the morning. So, but like for me, I get up many times early before sunrise, take my dog out for a walk. Sometimes I do back to back. I do late night walks, early morning walks, and I get to see some cool things. And you might be seeing these things, and maybe you didn't know what they were. Well, now you know. The moon pairing up with Saturn, for instance, pairing up with Neptune. The Venus pairing up with a beautiful star cluster. There's lots out there. And if you're interested in finding out more information, maybe you want to dig a little deeper into what kind of stuff is in the sky, check out my book, The Backyard Guide to the Night Sky by National Geographic. I filled this book with all my tips and tricks on how to get started in astronomy, how to do star hopping, learn about some of the little tidbits of science behind it. You don't have to be a Neil deGrasse Tyson to understand this. This is something easy, and it's just basically a lot of fun and little tidbits of information to get you started in the hobby. And if you're a little bit more advanced, this is a great book that'll also take you further in the hobby, choosing telescopes, advantages of different things like binoculars for certain objects, and just learning about the night sky. All the basics are there. It's a small pocket softcover book, and I'm actually selling, it's available everywhere, but I'm selling signed dedicated copies. So maybe you want to give it as a gift for a loved one. I've got them in stock. It's on my website, thenightskyguy.com. I'll put a link to that. And so if you're interested in buying signed dedicated copies, I'll send you one out there, no problem. And I also have a newer book out that I'm a co-author on, and that's The Stargazer's Atlas. This is a very different book. It's a large format, 6.5-pound coffee table book. So it's not something you pack away on your trip. That's for sure. This is something, though, that you kind of dive in and look at the history of what the night skies connection with humanity. There's a lot of stuff about astrotourism, where you can go in the world that are astronomically themed vacations, astroarchaeology, cultural connections to the night sky. And of course, at the heart of this book are all 88 constellations that are visible in the night sky and from all corners of the world, and tons of star hopping to deep sky objects for telescopes, binoculars, and the naked eye. It's a really great book. It's a large format book. It's available wherever books are sold. It's by National Geographic, so you know it's a good quality book. And I'm selling dedicated signed copies. Also makes a great gift. So if you're interested, just visit my website, thenightskyguy.com, and I'll set you up. With that, I wish everyone clear skies for this week, and I hope to see you on the next video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more of this kind of video every week. I'm here, and your support could be in the form of subscribing to my channel, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch. I'd appreciate your support. Thanks so much, and until the next time I see you on the next video, I wish all of you guys clear skies. Bye-bye.